just divorced from the King of France, Louis VII, Eleanor and Anne of Aquitaine still had daughters, plus a good foothold in the affairs of the Angevin Empire. However, she wasn't safe. The need for a secure plan from which to start again dogged her. Now, under the guidance of King Stephen, Henry II had proved to be a promising heir to the Plantagenet dynasty, and her plans of a new alliance with England seemed to permeate her mind. Henry Plantagenet would be the best political move to alleviate this latest disaster.
One day, lad, all this will be yours. What, the curtain?
Henry would surely have some say in what was to be done next, and the union upon which it had been contemplated would be the best set in motion. After this, it was only a matter of months before they were married in 1152, one of the greatest female emancipators in history, and had found her greatest match for the struggle towards independence. Liberalist ideals of a social approach touch upon the issue of an unpaid workforce of women during the work that would normally be attributed to men today, but never that in doing so would they be objectified to such a blatant fashion. This is a popular opinion.
Jolly good.
This last suggests a retro attitude towards postmodernism. Toxic masculinity is today described as a patriarchal system of exploitation and can, it is said, to lead to revolt and overthrow of the system itself. Amazing the way historical fact has been wiped away by the devastation caused by the Equality Act. The current recession also reflects this underclass development that has allowed a class structure to fracture and split, with genders bleeding through the glass ceiling today. Within the current context, unemployment rates of women in August of this year are 8.2 million, while the same figures for men are 10.9 million. So even though there is a change in acceptance of genders differing career choices, there is no such adaptation of how people are seen socially, thank God. Eleanor and Aquitaine was one such example of differing career choices. Her ambition paved the way for much independence of feminism enjoys today. Even back in the 12th century, it was still ill-advised to objectify the Empress of the Angevin Empire. Perhaps this objectification evolved from an over-acceptance of the reserve force of labour that would have fought against so hard before economic hardships seen during the world wars. The drop in unemployment figures is where the feminist approach falls down, of course.
I thought we'd agreed on brain death.
No, if you remember, sir, the union felt that brain death might prejudice the status of their living members.
If, for instance, any reserve was to be readily available in this respect, where is it today? Language barriers encountered by Eleanor were surely also seen as another obstacle to the acquisition of power in the world 800 years ago. It is to be noted, however, that the majority of nobles in the day did speak a form of French, Provençal.
And your father smelt of elderberries! Is there someone else up there we could talk to?
Which evolved over thousands of years and was well respected. What is to be taken into consideration is that English is a very new language, only 600 years. On reflection of this fact, it has to be taken on board that what we speak today is a devolved derivation. Chaucer and Shakespeare almost mechanically created a form of language through Germanic, Latin, French, Greek and Anglo-Saxon.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
This devolution might be a contribution to the lack of respect we see in the workplace gender diversity of the 20th century. Having lost her siblings at an early age would have doubled Eleanor's resolve and trapped her perseverance, a far cry from the lot of spoilt middle classes of today that rose through counterfeit traders during the 30s and 40s, suddenly being presented with ideas of equality and diversity and social reform can't have helped either. It subverted the accepted order of things and allowed men and women to expect the privilege and lifestyle rather than strive for it as Eleanor did.
Beware of powerful men, Bernice. They breed unspeakable whelps.
It might be an idea in future to stick with being married to the King of France rather than trust the grass is greener in the 12th century England, or the 20th century for that matter. Give us a good looking.
Shakanaka.